Hello class and welcome this afternoon to Language Arts. Today, let's get started. We are doing Tuesday's work, which is Out of My Mind and Go the Distance. So Out of My Mind, I've actually already recorded. I'm going to upload that in a second to the Wiser Me page. Make sure you listen to it. And I'm about to show in a second that you go back through and you answer questions for Chapter 3 and Chapter 4. We're going to go through yesterday's answers for Out of My Mind. So how does Melody feel about words? Obviously, your answers are not going to be exactly the same as mine, but they should be like semi-similar. Melody finds words to be almost magical. She wants words and is constantly frustrated with her inability to communicate. What skills and abilities does Melody have? She has a photographic memory. She remembers everything that she's ever seen or heard. No one knows this, however, because she can't communicate her thoughts outside of her own mind. How does she describe how other people view her? Other people view her as being stupid, focused on the very basics. Many people talk over her like she's not even there. And respond to the quote on page 8. Everybody uses words to express themselves except me. And I bet most people don't realize the power of words, but I do. Thoughts need words and words need a voice. And answers will vary, which means that your answer is going to be totally different than the person next to you because you have a different relationship with words than the person next to you. For me, I found the same thing was true for me and words. I love words, especially, for me, it's more about learning foreign language. And learning foreign language gives me the ability to talk to people that I might not have talked to otherwise. It gives me a chance to better understand them as a person. And immediately, it's a way for someone to feel and know that I respect their culture enough to have attempted to learn their language. And so for me, foreign language is a kind of respect. And that's kind of what I think of when I think of this quote. Okay, so now today you are also reading this nonfiction article, What is Cerebral Palsy? So make sure you do this section in your book. So you're reading this article. I paused it here just in case you don't have your book. This is part 2 of that article. So pause here if you don't have your book to read. And then here are the comprehension questions that go with it. Again, I'm projecting this just in case, but I really want you to keep practicing those language arts skills. So make sure you're reading this article on your own and that you're answering the questions. And then finally, this is the questions part 2. So pause that. Make sure you've read Out of My Mind, that you've answered those questions. Make sure that you've read the cerebral palsy article and that you've answered the multiple choice. Okay. So the personal challenge is not due until next Monday, but you're going to pick an hour of your life in which you are to be completely silent. You are not able to talk to anyone. Explain to anyone involved, which would be your friends and family at your home, why you're doing this. It should be a time that is inconvenient to you, so you're not allowed to pick while you're sleeping. Reflect in the space below on the challenges you faced. What was the most difficult part? Were you able to stay silent for an hour, and how can you relate to Melody after this personal challenge? So this is our writing for today, so make sure you take some quality time and that you actually write a reasonable and well thought out response. All right, so you can pause and do all of that at any point. Keep in mind that personal challenge is not going to be due until Friday, so you have a little bit of time if today is a super inconvenient day for you to be silent for an hour. But it should be pretty easy because we're all at home doing nothing, so it's a little different. Today we're going to talk about the Disney song Hercules, which is Go the Distance. And if you've never heard this song before, I love this song. I posted a video of it on this Wiser Me page, so make sure that you look at that and you follow along. The first thing I want you to do is in the Disney section or like the Musical Mania section in our Ultimate Language Notebooks, you're going to see a page that looks like this. It's right after the Frozen page, which we did yesterday. So first thing I want you to do is pause this video, stop right now, listen to that song, Go the Distance, following along with a pen or pencil, and making sure you've read through all the stanzas, all the words, and you process them. The second thing I want you to do is use a pen, pencil, highlighter, gel pens, whatever, circle some examples of really good word choice. So keep noticing when authors use really strong word choice. For me, my favorite quote in this whole thing is, I would go most anywhere to feel like I belong. None of those words by themselves are really that great examples of word choice, but the strength in those words put together is so clear to anyone who listens to this song. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, this is also part of our writing today. So it says, listen to the lyrics of the song again and write what you think it means. How could you relate this song to your own life? So think about this song in relationship to your own life and try to write a journal entry about how this could relate to you. So for me, fun story I'm going to share about this song is back in the day when I was in middle school, I believe, maybe high school too, I forget. But not shocking, was super dork nerd and had a really hard time fitting into any kind of social group. It was really weird. I didn't watch any of the TV shows of the day, didn't like a lot of the things that other people liked in my town. And I honestly just wanted to leave my hometown so badly, more than anything else I've ever wanted in my life, because I just didn't feel like I fit in there. Quite frankly, no one else in my hometown really speaks a foreign language, at least at the time that I was living there. It was very homogeneous, meaning that everybody kind of had the same experiences. Everybody had kind of grown up there for a long, long time. Definitely doesn't have the diversity that Pueblo does. Doesn't have good restaurants that Pueblo does. Doesn't have the friendly people that Pueblo does. And so I will be honest and tell you that I was not sad to leave, and it was always my goal. And so I listened to this song over and over and over and over and over and over again throughout my life and kept telling myself that I would find somewhere where I belonged eventually. And I would keep looking for that place. And for me, kind of how my understanding of the song has changed as I've grown up is that I realize I'm kind of a nomadic person. I like to move around a lot. I get kind of bored if I'm in one place for too long. Obviously hoped to stay in Pueblo so much longer than we actually were able to. But I think what it shows me is that I belong in a lot of places, and I belong with people who support me more than a physical place. So that's kind of how my reflection would work on this song. I want you to think about what it means for you. It could mean that you're going to find your own place in Pueblo. What does that look like? It might mean that you, like me, are dreaming of leaving someday. Maybe it means that you're going to find a career that you belong in, or a group of friends that you're going to belong in, or a school that you're going to continue to belong in middle school. So just think about what this song means to you, and if there's anything you can relate to in this song. Likewise, if you are kind of more like my brothers and were born into the place that you belong and you just feel absolutely perfect, you wouldn't change anything about your life, then you can write about why your life is so amazing and perfect, and how this song does not apply to you. So those are the two choices you have there. So next, which of these is a question answered by the text? Sort the questions. So what I want you to do for this page is I want you just to color the ones that are questions answered by the text. If you don't have your book with you, just make a list on a separate sheet of loose leaf paper about all the questions that are answered by this song. Okay, so the next page shows contractions and possessions. Apostrophes can be confusing. They either mean ownership or that two words are smashed together. In each of these quotes, write a C for contraction or P for possession. It is a contraction. Write what words would be used instead in the space provided. So for example, darling, it's better, which is actually a quote from The Little Mermaid. Darling, it's better would be C, because it's a contraction, right? We're combining it and is contraction. And so that's why it's combining those two together. And so that's why it's C. And the two words that come together are it and is. So do that with questions 1 through 7 and really focus on whether this is showing possession or ownership of something, or if it's saying two words and smushing them together. A quick strategy that I have is really, if you think it's a contraction, make sure you think what two words would fit in that sentence. Even if you're pretty sure that it is a possessive, try to fit an extra word in there. If it doesn't work, you're probably right. All right, and then finally, we have our musical mania from Hercules. So all you're doing is you are answering questions 1 through 5 using those awesome comprehension skills that we've been developing all year. So I'm going to show you a quick blast of, the answer key, just in case you need it. So 1 is B, 2 is D, 3 is A, and 4 is C, and 5 is someday, somehow, somewhere, and strong. Make sure that you are pausing before you go over the answers and not just copying down the answers, because that is cheating. All right, so that is our language arts section for today. Everyone should have the lava song done, which is the next page Yeah, front and back in our books, because we did that with rocks at the beginning of the year. If you haven't done it, that's an extra great chance to practice. All right, I will see you tomorrow.